Yeah, and looking at the draft here, I can only see one team. There we go. Extra special reverb start on Atlas's lab is very interesting. There's an Octavia picked on the side of Flying Blobbos, which I'm pretty sure in the series that they played just a bit ago, earlier today, Flying Blobbos versus Bunn Bunn, they 2-0'd Bunn Bunn, and both games Bunn Bunn banned Octavia. So I think Bunn Bunn changing that around and now banning the Juno instead, for instance, from Pensando. I think now Flying Blobbos are looking for a chance to get that Octavia on the board and maybe try to punish them for changing their drafting strategy up.
I do like the Juno ban though. Pensando is such like a game warping factor when he does get that Juno, and we saw it a lot in the previous series between the two of them, where he is just so proactive with the pick, and it created so many offensive opportunities that I think even if this Octavia is a huge pick, I think that it is still a more normal game for Bunn Bunn, and I think that they will excel when the game is more standard.
Yeah, I think a lot of their goal in that draft was to standardize the game, to make it more readable and fundamental, to maybe punish Flying Blobbos for having less experience and stuff like that. But Pensando is not weak on his secondaries either. His now is very strong. So we'll see if he's able to maybe stay just as effective despite that Juno ban.
Yari opening up the net, trying to set up here, but J-Man going for a little bit of a KO attempt. Fire Madam dash punching in to start the show for a bit on this Juliet. The last time these two faced off, Scyther brought very low as well, and a big opportunity for the Flying Blobbos to press their advantage here, but Lilybun makes some great saves, passes up to Scyther, who has a lot of space to work with. The Yari coming in as well, a perfect blink into snipe, and that's the first goal for Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Yeah, Pensando looking like a sitting duck as that primary just lined up perfectly with the core for the hits on the goal. That's the Estelle Classic. But now does have more ability to play around that than most other characters, because she has a frame 1 primary. Oh, dash punch on Scyther. She has a frame 1 primary, and her secondary can activate while she's hit stunned, so those goals might actually be more few and far between than they tend to be.
Let's see if Pensando can get it done on the defense here. Good flip out by Fire Maiden, but unable to follow up with it, with anything, unfortunately, and the barrier still stands. Scyther 12 just slowly advancing here. I don't think we've seen as many Scyther 12 solo plays as we're used to, but I think that also speaks to Pensando and J-Man interrupting them quite a bit here. Dangerous spot as Pensando preemptively evades, and that's no meter on the now here. That could be a big opportunity for the Rasmus and the Estelle here to look for a big chance. Rebound coming in from Lilybun and Liari to the bottom side. Deja vu a little bit as another goal goes in.
I think maybe the Octavia being left open this time was maybe warping J-Man's perception of draft here, because he's not looking very comfortable on the pick. I'm seeing a lot of mechanical errors, and you can't have those when you're playing Octavia. You need to be very solid to get the character to start really snowballing. So either he has to figure that out, or he might be in a very dangerous spot in this game 1.
Yeah, maybe Bunn Bunn was respecting them too much in the previous series, as this Octavia pick so far is only just existing at the moment. Scyther 12 in position. Good strike war by J-Man, though, to interrupt. Scyther with a lot of meter built up, though, and Lilybun with a flip for insurance. So much space for Liari, who blinks down to the bottom side once again, but it's Scyther winning a huge strike war in the midfield, perfectly slotted into the bottom side, and Bunn Bunn Bonanza. What happened? They're a different team.
Well, first they have that momentum coming from losers bracket, getting the very, very close win on Polar Cortex. So they're very fired up in that regard, but also I think they're just mechanically outplaying J-Man right now. I'm seeing a lot of strike wars coming in, a lot of flow states being denied in that regard, and that happening is very, very dangerous for Octavia. She doesn't want to ever be putting herself in a situation like that.
Yeah, and this draft's only going to make it even easier for Bunn Bunn Bonanza to continue that kind of game plan, with Scyther 12 picking up that fight or flight, so much speed on a player known for the solo dribbling plays, and the Aries is going to make Scyther even bigger there. It's looking pretty good for Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Yeah, Scyther 12 getting fight or flight, that's infamous. It's infamous that he gets that awakening, because every time he does, it looks like he just takes over the lobby completely, and it's looking like he's about to start doing it right now. All of that pressure, he just rotates the core as soon as it doesn't look like he's going to win, and he keeps trying. He has so much room to work with this fight or flight that Flying Blobbos are probably going to be very scared on this defense.
trying to chip down Scyther 12 a little bit with the damage, but picking up an orb, good evades as well. And now in the corner, so much aura as Pensando just drops back, gives up a barrier, ends up winning the strike war though. Good on the defense on this now, but the pressure continues into the corner. Scyther 12 surviving the onslaught, almost dead though, and Lily Bunn has to try and force it out the other way. Unable to do so, the barrier drops. Fire Madden in position, and J-Man with the flip available. The passing play starting up, but it's stuck in the corner, and I think if it's in the corner, they're going to be happy with it. But Fire Madden gets out to the top and will secure the goal right out of the reach.
Yeah, clean shot up, barely Finicard not catching it in time. And we saw in the defense with Pensando in the strike war situation with Scyther. The difference between scared and patient is whether you win, and Pensando was able to get it done there.
Oh, 2 barriers though. Flip burned, strike burned early, and that KO coming through as well. Fire Madden going forward and looking to try and make this set.
Yeah.
Oh, Flame Flurry, yep. 2-0 lead, and Flying Blobbos, they're back.
You can't quite dribble there. Good, very good awareness from J-Man. Using flip between the blips of Octavia ult. You really want to do that. Even when they're in their net, it stuns them and sets them up for Fire Madden's knockback kill there. Very clean, well played from the side of Flying Blobbos.
Oh, the big finish going backwards now into Flying Blobbos with the barrier lead, with 2-0 lead here, and damage onto Scyther 12, but Liari, 1 barrier taken already. Scyther trying to find these dribbling plays, but Flying Blobbos are playing a bit of keep away, making sure Scyther isn't involved in the play too much, and that is helping so much. But when Scyther gets possession, when Liari can follow up like that, it is the goal being found, and even a KO as well.
Yeah, walking back to his doom there, the Estelle primary closing it out completely. And what it looks like I'm noticing here is J-Man is using Octavia ult a lot to reset flow state, and it gets the evade out from someone like Scyther, but it's not keeping the flow state up, and it's also wasting the ult. So I think it is cutting their offensive pressure a lot to have that ability on cooldown. That might be something they want to change if they're going to win.
1 barrier taken, but now it's in Scyther's hands, looking to try and set up, but a good clear by Pensando out to the top corner. J-Man stunned away. The base drop also burned as well, and Fireman with the flip available is trying to make a play, but once again, it just going to Scyther's hands. Good clear by Pensando, but Scyther has the flip. Oh, burns it and gets KO'd. The combo coming in from the Flying Blobbos is huge, and they have a striker advantage, but it's up to Liari now. Lilybun on the defense, but the hit stun's there. 1 clear, but not the second. And the respawn will tick over. Scyther will be back, but the net is open, and J-Man's advancing.
Crazy layered knockback to kill on Scyther there. And Octavia primary and the strike reset is not quite enough to get that goal as they're layering their own. But that dash punch is no, it's not enough because Julie does not have any damage weapons, no pummelers. So the way this point is going to play out is that Rasmus Estelle is an open net. It's very scary for Pensando to save that. As we see.
You spoke it into existence. Pensando just didn't have the coverage for the entire open net, and the passing from Liari to Scyther was really nice. And now we're at a 0.5. Bunn Bunn Bonanza, once it's down 0-2 in this set, they're coming back, and I think they're adjusting quite well. But all it takes is one explosive push from Fire Madden, and that could really turn this around.
Yeah, they're finding a lot of sudden plays to kind of turn the momentum in their favor. But I think their fundamental core is a little weaker because, for one, Estelle Rasmus is just a very, very strong... Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think Pensando expected someone to be there to follow up with a strike, but no, and Scyther immediately punishes, and 2 sets up now. This could have been an even game, but Bunn Bunn now so incredibly in the lead, and they are in full control.
Absolutely. A team with Octavia on it would absolutely have wanted this game to go 1-for-1 on the set count, but playing from this 2-set deficit is a lot scarier, even aside from the fact that it's just like that no matter what. Octavia wants that extra room to get Awakenings and scale, but now she has to be denying Big Fish from Scyther. I think they probably could have swapped that around, stacks on Octavia, Big Fish on Julie. Those Awakenings probably work better in that order, but they seem to have a plan, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think Fire Madden's trying to kind of make some solo plays here with the stacks on stacks. Kind of akin to what Scyther is known for. We'll see if Fire Madden can do the same on the other end of the core.
Yeah, but I don't think solo plays are going to win in this game. Oh, we're going to the Sad Boys angle all of a sudden. I guess they have the room to make it work with 2 sets up, but they might get punished for the point as a result.
Yeah, good clear by Lilybun. Ambitious clear earlier, but that's a KO onto J-Man. And now Scyther advancing, no midfielder in his way. Fire Madden dropping back to help. But Liari and Scyther playing the corner. I think playing the corner a little bit too much. Scyther tried to get it out of there, but Liari forced it back in. But in the end, it does work out. Another KO found. This time onto the goalie. Pensando down. Scyther pushing forward. Gets the rebound, strikes. And J-Man, good clears for the moment. But for how much longer is the question. But the respawn is coming over.
Very well coordinated defense, but Fire Madden is not quite able to cut that pass. If he ulted a little sooner, he would have caught it, but because he did not have it up, maybe he didn't press it in time. Liari gets that free open shot.
Looking pretty good here for Bunn Bunn as they build up a lot of meter on that play as well. Lily Bunn with the flip available, lots of insurance, bottom barrier taken, but one barrier down is still quite a decent situation for the Bonanza here. Fire Madden also brought relatively low, early elusive by Scyther, and J-Man. The flow state just not really being maintained, but that's a huge KO here, and Fire Madden goes for two, goes for the flip, not quite.
Very, very close, but the knockback was a bit at a wrong angle. It was enough raw knockback to kill, but the angle wasn't quite correct. And J-Man, with the flow state, it's a bit strange because he has rapid fire and reverb, so his primary is off cooldown very frequently. So I think his flow state should probably be out a little more than it is. There's something in the way that the team is playing as a whole. I think that's causing that, the way Fire Madden is making those solo plays, which you do not want to do if you have an Octavia on your team.
Oh, that's an ambitious flip from Scyther, but with an open net, this Rasmus Estelle is going to have a pretty good time at making scoring attempts here. Dangerous spot to be in, but the triple taken Liari will reinforce, and getting it through to Scyther now. Oh, Pensando just doesn't get the strikeout in time after the primary, and Bunn Bunn Bonanza one goal away from taking a lead in this series.
Yeah, not much like the close games we were seeing in the last series that these two teams played each other in. Those were going pretty close sets and pretty close set counts. But this is a clean sweep for Bunn Bunn.
Yeah, Lily Bunn trying to get it through. Not quite, but still maintains one barrier. Top side, under pressure now to triple take long range from Lily Bunn. And Scyther continuing to dribble it onto the bottom side, taking a lot of damage in the process. But I don't think that guy is going to die anytime soon, especially if, oh, Liari almost setting up a perfect opportunity, but good defense by Pensando. Has enough buttons. That's the power of the now goalie with the primary, but now Fireman is the one who's a bit low here.
And this is a situation where you want Octavia ult. He has it. He's able to make it work, but he didn't use it quite the right time to confirm that. Lily Bunn goes for the Sad Boys angle once again. We'll hit one of these eventually, but while looking at it, they'll have to lose this point to get another chance. And there's a chance that it might happen with the way Fire Madden is playing, but Lily Bunn has that flip to ensure.
Yeah, dangerous situation here for Lily Bunn still. Has the flip, yes, but would prefer not to use it. The Flame Flurry catches at the perfect timing. All the coverage there. And Flying Blobbos get 1 point here. Bunn Bunn Bonanza still just 1 point away from closing it out, though.
Lily Bunn does get another chance to go for the Sad Boys angle, and that's what she really wants, I think. Yeah.
Well, we'll see if that does end up being the case here. Maybe we'll go for it a little bit later in this point if there's a sticky situation on the bottom right of the screen. Fire Madden pushing forward now. Doesn't go for it there. Side to 12 to the top side now. Liari with the follow-up, but doesn't get the corner pressure. Fire Madden has a lot of speed, right? The stacks on stacks available, and does find the barrier. Good dash punch just for the hit stun. Because while she's hit stunned, Fire Madden's able to go for that barrier take with a strike. And there's a lot of coverage here with ult and dash into flip, but he doesn't even need the flip. Just a raw dash is enough to stun, strike war, and send it in. That win here would be huge for the Flying Blobbos. It would let them scale a little more and maybe get a big Octavia awakening, but we'll have to see if they can secure this one or if Bunn Bunn will close this one out. Pensando with good defense, but the hit stun from Liari makes that strike unable to come out. Bottom barrier down, top barrier down, but Fire Madden goes in, flip in front of the net. They're gonna win. They're gonna win the game. Okay, this game is way closer than it seems. Castellast is still open, though I think because of Fire Madden's 1v9 play there, he might have gotten enough XP to be first pick in this draft. So Castellast is open, they'll have to deny it. And Finny might have a clean time doing it, so will Rasmus. So they get their pick of the litter here. And Octavia still has, let's be clear, Octavia still has very good options in Aerials and Twin Drive and Prime Time. All three of those she'll be completely satisfied with taking. Yeah, this could have been the game completely flipping, but the game is still pretty competitive here, right? And yeah, it is a bit of a dangerous situation for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, where it is not as favorable as it used to be. That Spark Deny, Fire Madden having to do that, is a little bit rough, though, I gotta say. So that's a little bit unfortunate for Flying Blobbos. They could have picked up something huge like the 1-2 punch maybe, but in the end, that's how the draft pans out.
It's unfortunate, but at the very least he does have reverb, so he still gets a fair amount of value out of that spark. So he's probably not too dissatisfied with taking it.
Yeah, now Fire Madden pushing forward here, building up a lot of those stacks on stacks, and stacks on stacks and being unkillable is also pretty helpful, honestly, against Fini. And Cypher 12 now the target, but the core flip stopped in midfield. Liari solo offense for the moment as Fire Madden helps out on the defense, burning quite a few cooldowns. Lily Bunn pushing forward. Pensando, well-timed strike to make sure the barrier stays alive. And the Bunn Bunn offense is looking a lot less scary now.
Yeah, if Cypher 12 is kept at the stagger threshold as long as he is, they don't really have that chance to send him to go run offense. So if they can keep him that low as much as they are, then they'll be like a lot easier time. Dash Punch comes in on Lily Bunn. She's down for the count.
And the barrier was also taken in that same play. Fire Madden trying dash punch in. J-Man pushing forward, flip available. That's the goal. And the Flying Blobbos are really back in it.
Octavia ult hitting both Erasmus and the core, farming so much energy in that play and able to cash out for a flip goal.
Yep.
Very convincing for Fire Madden, who has a Dren Rush to capitalize off of those dash punch finds that he's been actually getting with no damage awakens.
Very close to a flip as well, right? So this point could also be equally explosive. Fire Madden lurking, looking for maybe a dash punch onto Lily Bunn, maybe a dash punch onto Liari. Built up the flip, didn't go for it there, a little bit far away from the wall, but the barrier will be taken nonetheless. The layered strikes, the layered ability is looking good from the Flying Blobbos. The triple take a little bit out of place, and that means that Bunn Bunn Bonanza are having a very bad time. Liari taken out. Scyther 12's offense defended away by Pensando quite well now, and Bunn Bunn Bonanza in a really dangerous position.
Oh my god. Oh my god. No way. Octavia primary nudging it just enough. Just barely faster than Lily Bunn can walk to catch it. And that extra time gives Scyther time to die, which resets his energy. That was a very unique way to end the point.
One barrier taken early though. Bunn Bunn Bonanza accelerating the game, trying to find these early points, trying to get these barriers as fast as possible, but it's so difficult when Fire Madden is playing so consistently in the offense, and Pensando is not letting the barrier be taken like that. The barrier falls. Flying Blobbos one goal away from evening up this game.
Yeah, and they have the tools to make this goal happen. They have Octavia's cooldowns, they have her flip. Their flip state is about to get burnt now. They're still not in too bad a spot because they're forcing this 2v1 scenario. Oh, and J-Man flipped first! That's enough to get the goal!
What a play by J-Man when they needed it most here. It's an even game now, but I think they'll be very happy when J-Man's first pick.
Yeah, I'm not sure what awakenings are left that Octavia can get insane value out of. Really, just the Stagger Swagger is up. Though I'm sure she won't mind taking it. She'll have a very happy time taking Stagger Swagger. And notable is Octavia, or Juliet, can take Spark of Strength and start stacking power. Fire Madden has been finding these kills without any power, and you know, there he is. He's confident he can keep finding them. Even though he has a Dren, he's taking a Jill over power because he just wants that speed.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of speed for Fire Madden here, and he'll be able to make a lot of solo plays. And Scyther 12, though, importantly, getting quite a bit of size, so maybe we'll see the Rasmus make a turnaround, but it's a very scary fifth set for Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Yeah, and the Spark also denies Liari, who also had a Spark, to stop her from getting that movement speed, because I think what they realize Liari needs to win the game is that extra speed. Her getting strength probably isn't going to turn the game too far in Bunn Bunn's favor. So it was a very wise call from Flying Blobbos to deny that instead.
Scyther taking the now primary, making sure the barrier isn't falling, but Pensando's strikes are so precise at the moment. Fire Madden with the pressure, and Lily Bunn, when she needs it most, gets the angle behind the barrier, and that's the barrier staying up for Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
It was a practiced angle. She's eventually gotten it done. She was charging up for this moment.
Oh!
Able to hold it out. Monu Timeless is scary, but barely not enough. But the damage that came in that time they were trying to clear it out is perhaps enough to scare J-Man. Though he does have that Stagger Swagger to work with, he might not be in complete danger.
Yeah, everything is coming together for Bunn Bunn Bonanza, it feels like, but they still have to put the pieces of the offense together. There's the barrier take, the first, second barrier take in what seems like forever, and the triple take as well. Lily Bunn in position to help with the flip, Scyther with the shot, but J-Man's there to defend. And Flying Blobbos, they have the tools, but Scyther, no, Pensando's there.
They're able to cut it out, but there's Monu Timeless again. They can never get on the winning end of that Finial if they have those resources. They don't even have enough, and there's an open space shot from Liari. Strike into beam, the Timeless Classic. and Pensando can't save that from that angle.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it, but that Manu Timeless Fini might just be the puzzle piece that Bunn Bunn Bonanza needed to really kickstart their offense, because it is proving so valuable on the barrier takes, but Fireman is doing the same old. They're doing what worked for them in the previous set. Scythe to 12 with a solo play though. Good strike war by J-Man to get it out of there. That could have been 2 barriers.
As every point passes, Fireman is getting closer to that stacks on stacks. If he gets that 150, this game can become a lot scarier all of a sudden. There's now 2 forwards are running super fast.
Definitely could be Fireman in position. Liari helping defend, but so many cooldowns burned here. Triple take! Oh no! That's a big goal for Fly, and the game's evened up once again.
Very unfortunate angle in the triple take. Perfect shot from the circle there to send it in the bottom pocket. I don't think either team was ready for that, really.
Yeah, and top side once again. Scyther pushing forward aggressively. The black hole gonna support, but wow, almost a KO found. If Fireman had built up a flip there, was very close to doing so, that would have been the KO, but not quite. Flip there from J-Man. Fireman with a strike war win. That's 2 barriers for Fly. They're getting so much value out of every play.
Yeah, taking the barrier on the goalie side first means the second falls easy. It goes around the sad boys ankle and they don't even lose either barrier as a result. A scary situation, but they clear it out perfectly.
Yeah, Fly is getting so much value. Bunn Bunn is losing so much value. It is a tough offense here for Bunn Bunn. They get it out of the corner, but it is so difficult to get it forward. Scyther gets 1. Liari trying to follow for 2. Timeless. Manu, not enough. All the way around the world. Lilybun finds the only angle possible, and Scyther, but Pensando's there with the primaries, and Pensando is not dying either. But Liari will get the snipe. Flip available. The curvature of the black hole will make it so that Lilybun doesn't need to flip there, and Scyther will secure it. What a point for Bunn Bunn. I thought it was lost.
That was a cinematic save coming in, sending it up the Soren angle just barely. That was pixels. That could have been way worse out their favor, but it was perfect, and they converted that into a goal so well.
That is the game turning around once again. The black hole burned at the perfect time. 1 barrier taken, and Scyther with the flip available if he gets in a good spot to use it. Dangerous with an out primary, waits it out, but can't get a strike on it in the end. J-Man taking a lot of damage though. Flip available. Pensando with the latest possible strike, but that's the Octavia gone. That's a power play for Bunn Bunn Bonanza as they look to take the lead here to hit stuns. The follow-up strikes from Liari. The flip available for Lilybun in the corner. Triple take. The KO onto the goalie. The power play continues. The Manu Timeless is overwhelming in Bunn Bunn Bonanza. It was close. I thought it was slipping away from them, but they will secure the first game.
Yeah, just finding those little inches, finding those tiny little moments, and as soon as they found it, that like Estelle beam on J-Man getting that knockback kill of his own net, that was all they needed to convert. Stuff like that, those little tiny inches they were finding, I think told the story on how that game ended.
Yeah, and again, Monty Timeless Fini, right? In those in the 3rd and the 4th set, Bunn Bunn was really struggling to take those final barriers because Pensando was locking it down, and Lilybun with that draft got the decisive tool they needed to really give them the potential to force it right through.
Yeah, it really showed its strength there. Many situations, every time she pressed her ult down, the lobby had to take note of it and react. And because of the Timeless, it was stuck in there. Because of the Monu, you couldn't get it out. It was there for as long as they needed. Trying to stack damage, put it in the perfect spot, get hit stun down, and set up perfect offense for it to pay off. I think it was a very strong combo. They need to get that game kind of just in the bag.
Yeah, but now we're heading to Gates of Obscura here, Flying Blobbos map pick, and what are your thoughts on how, after the last game, how this one will go a little bit?
Well, I'm not really sure what Flying Blobbos will think to adapt there, because that did turn in their favor for a little while at the game, but I think there was a fundamental issue in the way they were playing as a team with Octavia and Julie. They weren't really playing around the Octavia. They were kind of using the Octavia to play around the Julie, which I think showed its flaws in the early sets especially. Also, I think it's more inconsequential, but J-Man is just missing primaries, and with Rapid Fire and Flow State, you can't really do that. So I think they might still have confidence in the Octavia, because it did show its value by the end there. They might put value in it still, though I think it's weaker on gates. And I think characters like Estelle, like an open map kind of character, are stronger. They might still put value in it, because Octavia does still do well on open maps like Autumn.
Yeah, we'll have to see as the picks will come in pretty soon, but with Deadeye Spark of Focus, this is a bit of a crazier game, right? Especially with the Deadeye start.
Yeah, the Deadeye start is Scyther 12 does play Luna, and he did play it last time there was a Deadeye start. He might bring it out again, especially considering if he's playing Brawler, he's running Spark. Though it is kind of scary to not take Spark of Focus in this lobby, because it's such a strong awakening just in general, that if you leave it by, if you let it be, then the drafting becomes so difficult. There's room for teams to run damage in this game. Both teams have chance to maybe pick a Luna, pick like an Amy goalie that Lilybun can do. They might put value in that, though I think if a team picks Sparks, gets Resilience, Reverb, stuff like that, that damage team might be threatened to get rolled over. So this is a very scary draft. They have to draft very carefully.
Yeah, oh, see, and not starting the draft yet. I think after quite a series of intense games, right? I think way too many incredibly close set 5 bangers. Not surprised that both teams are taking a second to calm down a little bit after something like that. Bunn Bunn Bonanza, 1 game away from making it back into the North American Strikers League, but this is also a series where if you lose, you're out. And no NASL.
Yeah, I mean, all 4 of Bunn Bunn's last games, they've been in the gauntlet. They've been running a crazy run here, because all 4 of their last 4 games have gone set 5. 2 of them went 0.5. They've been having a very difficult run. They've been having to prove that they can really get it done, and they've been doing it. They've been in these last goal situations. They've proven that they have the factor to close those games out.
As the draft gets started,
yeah,
there's the Luna ban. Fly, I think, recognizing the potential of Scyther 12 here, but Bunn Bunn Bonanza, last time the start was played, they played triple ranged, right? So they could still do that again.
Yeah, triple ranged, but I don't know what Scyther would play now that Luna's gone. That is a ranged character, one that can use that Deadeye. I think he might just go for a more classic brawler pick that can run Spark of Focus.
Or he might go Deadeye Rasmus. You never know.
That does work too. I think if you're picking Rasmus, though, you probably prefer Spark of Focus. Even if he can use Deadeye, let's be clear. I think Deadeye Rasmus is pretty good. But Spark of Focus is such a strong pick that it's probably too dangerous to pass it up if you're picking Rasmus.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what the picks are. And Bunn Bunn Bonanza, I also like that they picked away the Juno, the Ari, first known for that pick a long time ago, and making sure Pensando does not get it is huge. As mentioned before the first game, it'll be a DREKAR for Scyther instead. Another pick that he has been quite successful on in certain games, even when DREKAR was not really in the meta.
Yeah, but those buffs on Shotgun definitely strengthened his chance to score. It makes Strike Shotgun stronger, gives him more chances. It makes Reaction Shotgun especially strong, which Brawler likes to be able to do. So I think a DREKAR pick might actually not be that bad. And with Dubu in the backline, Dubu Juno, it's pretty hard to score on that team, especially with a character like Zentaro. I think Lily will have a lot of room to work with on defense when she's playing into the open space that Estelle and Zentaro want to create.
Yeah, I really like Bunn Bunn's drafts here. I think they'll have a very comfortable time. Flying Blobbos, backs against the wall. They've had a fantastic run so far, but it is brutal. Liftoff landing is brutal, especially liftoff, which Flying Blobbos got through. But it is not an easy time here. It's a test of endurance, and we're heading into the potentially final game for both these teams.
I will say I don't dislike Flying Blobbos' draft at all. Now goalie is very strong. I think she has a lot of room to work into DREKAR. I think that matchup is actually very good for her. And Estelle and Taro are very good damage picks. On a start like this, with Dubu goalie and Juno, for instance, I think being able to run damage on this team might actually prove itself to have quite a bit of value. So if they can get more CDR, more damage awakenings, and deny survivability, stuff like that, Flying Blobbos might actually have a solid damage comp going this game.
We'll see if that is indeed the case as we load in Gates of Obscura, a map that is very interesting. I think I'll be very interested to see how the defense is played from both teams on this map, because that is definitely one of the bigger factors in this game, with the defensive duo of Liari and Lilybun having that Juno Dubu on the other end. Well, forget about that, because both barriers are down already.
That's right. All 6 players taking Spark of Focus. No one opting for Deadeye, not even like Estelle, who can proc it technically, because they want to play for those drafts in that CDR. And Scyther is making his offense convincing. He's showing the way he wants to play the game already, and it's a very convincing one. The way that you can just run in and do a strike shotgun. If you can get close enough for the hit stun on now, it can be very strong. And Pensando was not ready for a tricky upwards shot from Scyther there, trying to cover the down with primary.
Yeah, Scyther's shot placement has always been some of the best, and on this DREKAR is going to have that additional core speed from the Xeno Cloak, and that's going to make it so much harder for the open net goalies to react. Pensando already finding those open net situations a little awkward in the previous games, and now Scyther 12 is just advancing forward. The lack of range might come into play a little bit, but so far Liari and Scyther are connecting quite well.
That's right, and Scyther does have that damage to work with, as we see him just dumping his kid on Fire Madden. Now Fire Madden is in a scary spot. Pensando spending the time to ult is enough for Scyther to flip and take that barrier, knowing it would happen. That's very smart.
Lilybun dribbling forward, one barrier taken on the other end thanks to it, but Liari is the one who sends the core a little bit forward here, and Fireman still taking a ton of damage, KO'd by Liari, but J-Man will trade on the other end, but Liari in position now. Lilybun out of the portal, Dubu, oh, the goalie's dead, but the core is all the way on the other side of the map, so it's not a goal. The flip's not burned, and Fireman respawns just in time to save the point for now, but it's still overtime, it's still the barrier's gone.
A scary situation for Flying Blobbos, and the goalie did die, but it's not enough to get the goal. They still have a chance to get this point down. And with Pensando's ult in, forcing out the flip, he's not able to catch the rebound though off of the strike off that offset flip. And the primary hit stun coming in from Liari, guaranteeing that was very effective too, I'll say.
Yeah, a very goofy middle to that point, but in the end, the core speed is what gets it done here. And that's only going to get crazier, right, as the game progresses. If Liari gets some core speed awakenings, if Liari gets a dash awakening, that's going to be a lot more a lot larger of a sphere of influence that Liari has.
Yeah, the dash awakening is probably pretty important for them too, because they'll probably end up denying it with a Stellan's entire on the enemy team. So there is a very likely world where Juno gets something like that to work with, and Pensando is taken out by the Juno. Well, that's a lot of damage coming in.
And Billy's strikes are looking quite solid there, but hit around now. Pensando and Fireman advancing. J-Man dropping back to help defend. Through the portals it goes, but Liari with a surprise, but no! The barrier still stands. Scyther, strike shotgun, even while buffed, is not enough in that situation. And once again, pushing in the bottom corner is the Slimes. No, not quite.
And what I'm seeing is, oh wow, that's really hard to do!
The rarest double barrier.
It is very, very hard to get that double barrier. Excellent, excellent aim from Scyther.
And the Slimes are still there as well. It's overtime. So much speed. Liari with the agency, with the Tofu Fortress's Lilybun. J-Man now pressuring. But oh no! Scyther doesn't flip the core, and the perfect pass from J-Man to Pensando will secure the point. But again, that double barrier, like, it wasn't even a fake double barrier, right? You know, when Kai runs up and hits both of the barriers separately. Yeah. That was a real one.
It was a clean one too. One strike, just letting everyone know. Letting it ring through the lobby. But it was the same reason though, as he's in that strike animation. Goes for the kill on J-Man, isn't quite able to find it. The shotgun animation takes so long that when you know DREKAR is going to do it, you can kind of bully him for it, though it did get recently buffed, so it's less effective to do that now.
Oh, trying to get those strike war wins onto the barrier here, but good defense. Flip has to be burned by the Flying Blobbos, and the barrier taken here. Lilybun almost has a flip, but almost won't be enough if it's shot in the open net here. Finally builds it up now, and Scyther advancing. Early strike shotgun at an angle that Pensando I think didn't expect, and the Slime didn't step on the Slime. The Slime follow-up got that one.
I think the real reason was because they decided to go back in there off of the flip. I think if they went for the out, then they would just clear it outside of the Slime in the first place. because Scyther was not in a position to cut that, and neither did he have Molten Bolt, so that was probably just misplaying the aim they sent out in the defense. They did have the flip down. Juno does get 1-2 punch. Yeah. That's very strong on her, yeah.
The core speed's going to get a little ridiculous, and it's going to be a lot harder, right? Like you talked about in the previous goal, it was a bit of an error, and when the core speed gets high, those errors become a little bit more commonplace. The panic sets in. So this is going to be a very, very scary next point for Fly, I think.
This game could very quickly fall out of the hands of Flying Blobbos. It's very dangerous for them, as the 1-2 punch now does kind of have that coverage, but the way they've been playing is they've been predicting the time Pensando is using that now ult, because it has that animation to it. They're doing something in that time where he's not able to act, and it's like a straight shot of the barrier. With that core speed, that is significantly more effective. So it could be scary. It could scare Pensando off of making these proactive ult plays.
Yeah, we'll see if that is indeed the case. Loibon rolling forward. J-Man, good interrupt to prevent Liari and Scyther from advancing on the bottom side, and that does earn Fly a barrier here. Pensando as well getting in there. Fireman with a hit stun. That's a barrier taken. Follow up from Fireman, but Lilybun guesses right there. Flip available, but Lilybun and Liari are there to cover the entire net with the strikes. Dangerous spot, but Lilybun with the patience and the Dubu size, just helping these strike wars so much as Scyther finds the rebounds. A strike, shotgun, strike, to get both barriers down. And Bunn Bunn Bonanza, they've turned this point all the way around.
A lot of left clicking and right clicking from DREKAR on those offensive situations. It's very hard to clear out with just a now. And the way it is, with 1-2 punch Juno, she has a very strong chance of scoring this goal. And she's able to, going for the puffy angle top side, bouncing it off around Pensando. Very clean.
Yep, top side, turning this point all the way around and taking quite a decisive lead. 1 set, 1 point. Flying Blobbos, it's not that they can't make the comeback, but it's that they need to right now.
Yeah, they definitely don't want this to go down a set again. They need that room to work with to figure the game out. And if they can't take this set here, I think the momentum is just so far in Bunn Bunn's favor.
Oh my, speaking of momentum, Scyther wins every single interaction in the corner. Strike Wars everything, flips it in. It's a Bunn Bunn Bonanza.
Yeah, that was complete 1v9 from Scyther. They just could not get it out. He was just running it down the corner. They couldn't find a way out, and they're spending their flips to try to get out, and they still can't. It's very, very scary when that Lizard is running that offense in the barriers. And Scyther is just so effective at it. It's what he's best at, I think. Just getting those situations down.
And Fireman healed up. The barrier taken, though, but Scyther in position once again with Liari to back up this time. And the lack of dash range on Fireman is definitely showing right now. The lack of reach, the lack of threat from range that the Centauro could have. The 1-2 punch on Liari. Oh, Lilybun goes for the roll, but Fireman does have the slice and dice in time. And that will be a point for the Flying Blobbos. They need many more, but it is a start.
We saw Fireman try that earlier in the game, doing the primary preemptively to cover Dubu roll. It didn't work then, but it did now, and he knows what to do about it. He has a plan. So he might not be as uncomfortable as we think he is. But there's another. Every time the ball gets in the corner there, it goes into a double barrier. They can't let that happen as consistently as it is now. Because every time it does, they get that open shot in Scyther. And now just can't cover that open net as convincingly as other goalies. Very clean from Bunn Bunn. They're very efficient with their offense.
It's going to be an interesting one here, but this draft is scary in that I don't think there's any saving grace. That explosive entrance could be denied away, etc. This is a draft that is very navigatable by Bunn Bunn.
Yes, and they get something like Primetime or Spark even on Dubu, doubling up on the focus. And there's some explosive entrance coming in on Juno, as we were talking about. It's so compelling to try to deny that from Zentara that Juno will end up having it. So Bunn Bunn getting... Again, now they have 5 Sparks on their team, which is very scary to deal with, and it's stacking on 2 different members of the team. The way they're scaling on this game is terrifying for Flying Blobbos. It's very hard for them to take this home.
And the flexibility of the Juno in the draft, getting the dash range and looking a lot scarier for it. They already can transition from defense to offense so quickly now. and is just interrupting so many different plays. Scyther in position, getting the strike after the shotgun so many times. One barrier down already. Fireman and Pensando pushing up now. And J-Man trying to get something done, but Zoebun is just using the cooldowns and making sure that the barriers don't fall for free.
Yeah, and there's just damage coming in. There's damage coming in on the side of Bunn Bunn, and it's... Wow, the flip isn't enough. And Scyther's looking scary here. He's able to shotgun it out of Zentaro ult, take the open shot on the top side of the net. Pensando is not able to cover it.
Really, really well done here. 2 goals away from making it back into the North American Strikers League. In a dangerous spot now, but Bunn Bunn Bonanza thriving in the pressure. Almost getting the Molten Bolt into shotgun there onto Fire Madden. Not quite. And Scyther's the one who's low, but will heal back up, has the flip available, and we've seen him 1v3 in these situations before. This time assisted by Liari. Shotgun after the flip. Another barrier down. The Slimes covering the entire top side. And Tofu Fortress helping out as well. Not quite the goal just yet, but the offense just continues from Bunn Bunn Bonanza. It's infinite possession, finally interrupted by J-Man, but they aren't finding any footing in the offense here. Flying Blobbos constantly on the defense. The goalie taken out, backing up a tiny bit too much.
Oh my god,
wait a second.
Everyone's walking on the edge of the map and dying. What's going on?
Scyther alone in the goal box. Flip available. Fireman doesn't even use it. And Bunn Bunn Bonanza overextending a little bit. One of the goofiest points of all time. And I think Flying Blobbos will take those.
We've seen something like this before last game when they were so high up that they start doing some over-aggressive plays or trying to clear behind the lab barrier and getting punished for it as a result. Last time it went to set 5. This time it might not be so convincing because this game, it feels different. They don't have the Octavia, they don't have any convincing core to their game, and stuff like that is happening with Liari. Just these crazy solo plays, jumping in, 1-2 punch, Pensando can't catch up because he's slowed by DREKAR ult.
I haven't recovered from the point before that, but it could be the final point of the game here. Bunn Bunn Bonanza in position to make it back to the North American Strikers League, and Scyther knows it. He can feel it. 1 barrier down already. Fireman with the flip. Almost taken out there. Tofu Fortress off the map. And now it's a 2v3. Scyther's well pushing forward. 1 barrier down. The final barrier down, perhaps, for Flying Blobbos. Liari and Scyther advancing. The slime set up. Liari to the top side. So many strikes available. Pensando, good timing. But for how much longer can Pensando hold is the question here. Scyther just going to KO the goalie. Not quite able to do so. But now the DREKAR has the flip available. And just a shotgun flips Pensando away. 1 pass is all it takes now to get past the defenses here. The slime forward for Scyther. J-Man desperately trying to get the save. Scyther to the bottom corner. And Bunn Bunn Bonanza, welcome back to the North American Strikers League.
Bunn Bunn is back, and I bet it's refreshing to finally play a game where it's not set 5.5. They're finally able to have a chill, clean sweep, and as a result of that, they've earned their way into NASL.
Oh, it's crazy how these games have gone, but Bunn Bunn adapted. They changed up their draft strategy. They made sure Pensando didn't get the Juno, and they really just showed that they are a NASL team, right? This is a NASL team, and one of the qualities of a NASL team is being able to shut down the gimmicks or the specialties of the other team, and they did just that.
Yes, I think that's a lot of what Liftoff is because you're playing versus all of these new teams on the rise. A lot of them did not get there by playing versus NASL teams. They got there by playing versus other teams on the rise, right? So there's that dissonance. There's the difference between Flying Blobbos playing versus a new upcomer and playing versus Bunn Bunn Bonanza. Because Bunn Bunn has that competitive experience. They have a lot of experience playing versus these unorthodox kind of players and teams due to playing in NASL and playing all this time as a team together during weeklies and stuff. So I think that experience is definitely rewarded and paid off. Them having that adaptation, being 2-0'd by Flying Blobbos, they've come right back and 2-0'd them back to make NASL as a result. I think that experience has worked very well in their favor.
Yep, congratulations to Bunn, and there's one final qualifier for NASL left. It's Return to Form versus Atlas's Diversified Resume, who have made it all the way from the lower landing qualifiers of Liftoff. They went the full 5 series yesterday, and they're here all the way from the losers bracket, beating Cyberswipe, Heavy Metal Gundam, Dragon Slayers 2, who are probably predicted to make it here, and now they face Return to Form for the last spot. But that'll be in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. See you soon.